In today's video, we're going to be creating this pitch deck presentation using the morph transition to create this scroll effect in PowerPoint. Alright, let's get started. I already have PowerPoint open. You can go ahead and launch PowerPoint and create a new presentation. So I'm just going to select this to delete. Next, I'm going to paste in an image I already have in my clipboard, and this is the image we're going to use. Link to this image will be in the description box below. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to crop this image. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on crop. And now we have this handle. So I'm just going to grab this one, move it to the left, and grab this other one and move it to the right so it fills the entire background. Now I'm going to hold Control and scroll down so that I can give myself more space to work with. Grab this handle here and move this image till we have this. So the top of the image is covering the entirety of our background. And I'm just going to click on escape and we have this. Now next I'm going to fit the presentation and we have this image. So I'm just going to select this image. Now let's come here and then we can change the brightness. I want this image to be a bit darker, so we'll make this -40. And this is what we have. Next, let's insert a text box. So go to insert and then go to text box, and now we can draw a text box, and I can just type in pitch deck all caps lock. So pitch deck, like that. I'm going to select this, select the entire text box. Let's change the text to band script. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Band script condensed. Here we're going to change the color of the text to white. Next, let's change the size of the text to 166. Let me increase the length of our text box so that the text will fit. And let's add a shadow to our text. So we'll just add a text shadow. We won't change any other settings. Let's change the alignment to center, and we have this. Now let's put our subtitle. So I'm just going to use Control, hold down Control, and I'm going to create a copy of this. Next, I'm going to change this text to presentation, like that. And what we're going to do, let me select the text, and we're going to change the size of this text to 88, and this is what we have. No need to change the length of the actual text box. So let me select this middle text box, and I want it to be really close, so the text boxes may align but not the text themselves. So I'm just going to move it till we have, let's say, something like this. So hold shift, select the second text box, go to arrange, align center, and now I'm just going to group them. Control G to group. While this text box is selected, go to arrange, align center, arrange, go to align, and align middle, and we have this. Let's see it for a moment in our presentation view, and yeah, we have our title slide for this presentation. Let's move on to the second slide. So select the slide over here, and we're going to duplicate it using Control D. So let's start with the image first. We're going to be using the morph transition. I want to create this scrolling effect, so we're going to crop this image so to move up a bit. Select the image, and I'm going to go to picture format, and then I'm going to click on crop. Now I'm holding shift to try and keep things as straight as possible, and I'm just going to move this up ever so slightly, maybe something like this, and just move it, and yeah, I have this, and I'm just going to use escape to return it back. Next, select this text, and we're going to right click and let's ungroup. Now select only the top text, delete. Now let's move this somewhere around here and change the alignment to left, and let's go to our text. So I'm just going to copy this about us, and I'm going to paste it here. Let me reduce the size of this text box so it fits better. Let's insert another text box. So go to insert text box. Let's grab our body text. This is just Lorem ipsum text. You can Google it or just ask any AI chatbot. So I'm just going to come back to our presentation, draw this text box, and just paste it in. So select this text box, change the color to white. Let's change this to Aptos display, and let's make it the size 24. Now I'm not going for any specific length, but I'm going for 6 lines. Let's leave it like that, and I'm just going to give this a bit of spacing, and it's aligned to the left. So let me select both of them. I'm just going to use my arrow key to move it slightly. Let me say something like this. This is fine. So click out. Let's look at it for a moment, and yeah, this is what it looks like, and we're done with this slide. Now let's move on to the next slide. So I'm just going to go over here once again. Let's duplicate this, and let's start with the image. So I'm going to click on the image again, go to picture format, crop, and I'm going to move this image up like this. Let's say we have something like this, and escape to close that. Next, let's move things around. We're going to we'll try and reuse elements as much as possible as we progress in this project. So I'm just going to change this to mission. You can go ahead and copy and paste it, but I'm just going to type that in. And let's move this time. I'm using just my arrow key to move it to the top slightly to give ourselves more space. Now I'm going to once again use my arrow key and just move this down. Now let's insert some icons. So let's go to insert, click on icons, and we're going to open this dialog. I'll just scroll down, and we're going to use this numbers. So 1, 2, and 3. Insert, and I'm just going to give that the moment to download. Now while all of these are selected, let's change their fill and their size. So go to fill, change the fill to white. The height, or you can change the height, the width, it will change. It's going to be proportional, and the height and width will change. So now all of them are 3.2 cm by 3.2 cm. I'm going to select one of them. We'll start, of course, let's select number 1, and we're going to bring 1. So we'll start with this one, and then we'll figure out the spacing for the rest. So before I move on, I'll select this, and I'll change this to just Aptos body, and we'll change the size to 18. Now let's check our text. We are currently in mission, and I'm just going to select the text. I want to have a certain length of text to fit inside our project. So I'm just going to reduce the size of this and have them on, let's say, 8 lines. So I will have space for all 3. So yes, it's now all on 8 lines, and this actually looks fine to me. I'm just going to leave it as it is, so you can just move things around as you feel, or move it however you feel. Maybe you prefer it closer, or maybe even further. You can go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to select this to go to arrange. I'm going to align to the left just to make sure, and nothing changed. So yeah, that actually is fine. So since I'm good with this alignment, I will now align these two to make sure that it's aligned with other icons and other elements before go ahead and group them. So select this other icon, and I'll just make sure that they are all aligned. Select this, and I'm going to grab this using Control and Shift. I'm going to create copies of this, 2 more copies of this. So use Control and Shift, and I'm going to drag one here. Don't worry, we'll figure out the alignment to make sure, and I'm going to create another copy here. All right, let's start with this one. Go to Arrange, Align Left, and then Group. Select this one and this one. Arrange, Align Left, Group, and finally select these 2 and also align left, and then group. Now I'll just select this one, this third group, and I'll move it. Let me move it, let's say, slightly in, so that we'll try and make the spacing equal. I'm going to select this tree, go to arrange, align, and I'm going to distribute horizontally. And let's look at it for a moment in the slideshow view. And yeah, this is what we have, and we're done with the mission slide. The next slide is going to be our services, so let's go ahead and we're going to duplicate it. As usual, let's start with the image first, so we don't forget. So select the image, go to picture format, crop, and while holding shift, move this up like this till you have something, let's say here. Escape to close. Now let's go to our notes. Okay, the text for this time is our services. So once again, I'll just reuse elements, to make things easier. I'm going to extend this, change the alignment to center, and select this text box. I'm holding shift while I move it, and I'm going to bring it, let's say here, just to make sure align to center. Okay, and yeah, that's good. Select this third one. We'll just need only two. We're going to delete this. Now let's select these two, and I'm going to move them to the center, and we're going to replace these icons. So before we do that, let me move this slightly to give them a bit more space, and I'm going to move this slightly till, let me see, PowerPoint is indicating that okay, that spacing is good. So let's select this, change the alignment to center, select the icon, align it this time to center. Once again, select this text box, align to center, select this icon, arrange, align to center. Now we're going to replace these icons. So what we're going to do is select this icon, right click, and then change graphic, and we'll now go to from icons, and we're going to load the icons dialog. So for the icons we're going to use, you can choose any icon you want. So let me just choose, let's say, this one. Go ahead and insert that, and give that a moment to load, and that has changed. Once again, select this, right click, change graphic, from icons. So this time I'm going to select this icon, and I'm going to go ahead and insert, and I'm using holding shift while I do this to make sure that the spacing is proper between these two items. Sometimes if you want to make things easier, you can group it and then align center, but PowerPoint has indicated the spacing is okay, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So let's just take a moment to look at it in the presentation view or the slideshow view, and yeah, this is what we have, and we're done with our services slide. Let's move on to our performance slide. So I'm just going to once again select this, and I'm going to duplicate. Now let's start with the image. So select the image, go to picture format, and then click on crop, and we're going to move this image upward. So while I'm holding shift while I do this, so I'll keep it as aligned as possible. I'm going to move this image to, let's say, about here. I'm going to click on escape to close that. Let's go to our notes, and I'm just going to copy this text, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste it here. Let me extend this, and then I'll also align it to the center. Next, let me delete this. We don't need this particular text. Let's ungroup this, and I'm going to delete this icon. So let's insert a chart for this point. So go to insert, and then we'll click on chart. So it's already selected on this one. We're just going to click on that. Give that a moment to load. We're not going to change anything. If you want to change the series or how many items you want to have, you can go ahead and change that, but we're not going to do that. Just close the dialog, and we have this. While the chart is selected, let's go to format, change the fill to white. I'm just going to click on that, and the fill for our chart is currently white. Then I'm going to change the height to 10, and the width is going to be 13.75. And I'm going to bring this, let's say, around here. Let me just maybe move this in a bit. So this text is a bit short for what I'm going for. I'm going to just, let me move it here. Then let me grab my text. Once again, no specifics. I'm just going for a certain length of text. You can make it shorter or longer if you want. And I'm just going to extend this till I have something like this. And I'm going to move this around till PowerPoint indicates is equal spacing from both sides and is also centered to the chart. And I'm going to close that dialog. Once again, let's look at it in the slideshow. And yeah, this is it. We're done with this slide. The next slide is going to be the our portfolio slide. So select this slide, Control D to duplicate. Next, I'm just going to grab my text. You could type it out if you want. I won't, but I'll just go ahead and paste this here. And just to make sure everything is aligned, I'll always use align center. And yeah, that looks good. I'm going to select this chart and delete it before we move on to the next part, because we're going to insert some images. So that we don't forget, let's change the crop of our image. So select the image, go to picture format, and we're going to crop. And I'm holding shift, and I'm going to move this image up, let's say around there. Escape. Now we're going to insert some images. So I'm going to go to insert, and we'll go to pictures, and we'll go to stock images, and we'll load our stock images. And we're going to just go ahead and search for meeting. Now I'm going to scroll down. Once again, I'll always encourage you to change things as you go. In the case of images, you could choose whatever image you want, but the image I'm going for this particular one, I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to select this image, and let's see, I'm going to select, let's say, this one. And finally, where is the final image? I'm going to go with this one, and let's go ahead and insert those three. Now that we've inserted our images, let's change their dimensions. So I'll just select this first image, change the width to 9.5, select the second one, same thing, 9.5, and finally this third one, 9.5. Let's move this text, or let me reduce the amount of text we have in this text box before we move it out of the way. So let's just move these three images, and we'll kind of figure out their spacing and alignment now. So let's have this, let's say around here, and I'm just going to move it up, and it will seem PowerPoint is kind of indicating, okay, this is good position, so we're going to leave it there. I'm going to select this text box. Let's create a copy. So I'm just going to use Control to create a copy, and sorry about that, I'm just going to create a copy, and this is going to be project 01, or you could just use 1. I'm going to use 01. I'm going to change this to band script condense, and the size is going to be 28. I'm going to just reduce the width of this slightly so that we have this, and I'm going to reduce this too, so we have something like this. Now, just like we typically do, we're going to try and figure out the spacing for this first one, and then that will now be a guide for us to do the rest. So I'm just going to maybe move this up a bit. I'm going to select these three and I'm going to distribute vertically, and why not let me just align center. We may still have to move it around, but yeah, this is what we have. So I'm just going to select this image and then align it to this other image, move this image, and once again align it to the other two images. Select these two and I'm going to use Ctrl and Shift, and I'm going to create 2 more copies of this till we have something like this. Let's change this to 2 and we're going to change this to 3. Now you can go ahead, select this tree once again just to make sure we've done that before, or align center, group them, select these 3 and once again align center and then group. Finally select these 3, arrange and go, then align center and then group this as well. So I'm just going to select this and I'm just going to use my arrow key to kind of move it in, a bit closer, and I'm going to just move this till we have that. Select these 3, go to arrange, align and distribute horizontally, no changes, and yeah, this is what we have. And let's take a moment to look at it in the slideshow view. And yeah, this is our portfolio slide and we're done with this. Let's move on to the next slide. Select this slide and Ctrl D to duplicate. So this one is going to be kind of quick because we're just going to reuse most of these elements. So I'm just changing the alignment to at least make it a bit, let's just make it a bit dynamic and change a few details about it. So I'm going to move this to, it's aligned to the left. Let me go to my text and this is going to be meet the team. Select this and we're going to paste this. And like I said, just like we did with the icons, we're just going to swap these images. So select this image, right click and then change picture. We're going to go to from stock images. So first we'll search for man and we'll just click on that, and I'm just going to scroll down a bit and I'm going to select this image and I'll just go ahead and insert and we'll give it a moment to change. And yeah, we have this. We're going to go ahead and do the same for this one. Right click, go to change picture and we're going to go from stock images. So let's search for a woman this time and let's scroll down till I find an image I'm happy with. You can go ahead and choose any image you want, but let's see. Sometimes finding an image in this library kind of gets kind of hectic. So okay, let's go with this. I'm just going to go ahead and insert and give that a moment to change. Finally, let's select this one and change picture. We'll go from stock images, give that a moment to load, and we're going to search for a man again this time. So enter. I'm just going to search for that. Let's use this image this time, and I'm just going to give that a moment to change. And now, quick and easy, we've already changed it. So instead of having obviously projects, these are no projects, we'll just copy this. I'll copy this text here, I'll just paste this here, and this is team member 1. I'll just paste the same text here and change this to 2, and I'm going to do the same here, changes to 3. Let's make things a bit different. At least let's try and change a few details. So I'm just going to select this and I'm going to remove this last line of text. Let's just want each slide to be a bit different, even though they are quite similar. And I'm just going to delete this line of text. And like I said, you see me reuse elements from other slides, and I will encourage you to get comfortable with doing that. Makes a lot of things easier. The final detail is the image. So select the image, go to picture format, crop, and now we can now move this image. So I'm holding shift down and I'm going to move this up like this, maybe even, or maybe just slightly like this, and we have this, and I'll just click on escape, and yeah, this is our image. So once again, let's just look at it for a moment, and we're done with this slide. Let's create the next slide. So once again, click on this, we're going to duplicate. So let's start with this image, go to picture format, and then we're going to crop it, and I'm going to move this up a bit, let's say around something like this. Escape to close that. Now I'll select this to delete this. Let's just ungroup it because we want to reuse the text boxes. So select the image and we can delete that. Now let's insert some icons. So let's go to insert and we'll click on icons, and we're going to insert a few icons. Give this a moment to load. Let's start with file, and I'm going to click on this one. Let's search for chart, and let's see this. We're going to search for ID. Click on this one. Final one is going to be handshake. And I'm going to select this, insert, and we're going to insert those icons. Now let's change the fill to white. Let's change the dimensions to 3.2. I'm going to grab this one, which is the file. We'll first figure out the alignment as usual, and oh, we haven't changed the text. Let me change the text. This is going to be white choosers, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this here. So for this one, let's move it, let's bring it about here. Let me reduce this. I'm going to just bring this in. Let's change this. The size is going to be 18, and we are going to make this bold, and we're going to make this aptos body, and the text is going to be just lorem ipsum text, and I'm just going to paste that here. And now we have this text. Let's grab the content for this text. Very short, it's not that long, probably is almost the same thing. Just going to paste that here, but we're going to make this one slightly smaller. We're going to make it 16 and reduce the size till we have something like this, and I'm going to just bring it in. I want to have these two close, and there will be slight distance between the icon and the actual text. So I'm just going to select this tree, and I'm quite happy with the spacing as it is. If you want to move it around, you can still move things around. So don't worry about the alignment. We're going to do that as when we finish. So first, let's figure out the spacing for each item. So I'm just going to select this graphic, and let's move these around. Now let's figure out their alignment. So I'm just going to move this till we have that. Move this till they are aligned with this other two. Move this around till it's aligned with the others. Now that I look at this, the spacing is way too much. I'm just going to move this. Okay, so Control Shift create copies of this, create another copy, create one more copy. Now we can select this tree, go to arrange, align center, group, select this tree, arrange, align center, group. Do the same for this one, align center and group. Finally, let's do the same for this one, arrange, we're going to align center and then group. Let me select this one. I'm going to use my arrow key to just kind of move it to the side like this, so that we can now figure out the spacing for this side. So I'm holding shift while I do this, and now PowerPoint is indicating that the spacing between this side and this side is equal. So now I can select, there's an image behind, so it makes things a tad bit easier to deal with, since it keeps trying to select the image as well. So I'm going to select this for arrange, and I'm going to distribute horizontally, and I'm just going to click outside. Let's look at it in the presentation or the slideshow view. And yeah, we're done with the white chooser slide. I just noticed I haven't moved this image, so let's go ahead and do that. Select the image, go to picture format, crop, and I'm going to just move this, let's say here, like that, escape. Now select this, and we're going to duplicate it. We don't need, well, pretty much everything, but I'm just going to select this tree, delete, select this, and I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to keep only the bottom text box. So the text for this is going to be thank you, and I'm just going to paste that here. The alignment for this text is going to be center. Let's change the size of this text to 18. You can make it larger if you want. Let me see the length of the text. I believe it's slightly longer. I'm just going to paste it here. Extend this so that it's on 3 lines, and I'm just going to bring these two together. Let's see, something like this. Select both of them just to make sure. I'm just going to align center, group both of them. While it's selected, I'm going to align center, align middle, final detail, select the image, go to picture format, crop, and I'm going to move this image till it comes to the end, and escape. And let's go to our slideshow view. Yeah, this is our final slide, the thank you slide, and we're essentially done with the presentation. Since our presentation is done, let's move on to the fun part. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use the morph transition. I want to have this effect where the text or the elements in our presentation will scroll upward or downward depending on how you move your slide. So let's start with this. This first item is currently grouped. I'm going to ungroup them. So I've ungrouped them. While they are both selected, I'm going to copy them and come to about us, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to use my arrow key and move this to out of the slide. I'm just going to zoom out to give myself more space to work with. Now I'm going to select this top text, and I'm going to move it. I want them to go out of the screen at different speeds. So I'm just going to move the pitch deck text a bit. Now grab these two texts in the about us section, copy it, go back to slide 1 and paste it here. And I'm going to use my arrow key to make things easier. I'm going to deselect the heading, and I'm going to move the text slightly. And this is what we have here. Now we are essentially done with this first one. And now let's go to this. So we're going to grab this content. Let's want to work on missions now. So since we want this to scroll up, we'll copy this to bring it here, paste it. I'm going to use my arrow key to move it out of the slide, and I'm going to give this to a bit of space. Next, grab the content for mission, copy it, go back to slide 2, which is the about us slide, paste it. This time bring it down. And just like we did want to have sort of a cascading effect where they all come in at different speeds, deselect the heading, select this one, I'm going to bring it down, select this one, and I'm going to bring this down. And you have all of them coming in at different rate of speed. And we are done with slide 2. Slide 3 is not complete yet. So once again, let's select the content for mission. Let me come in a bit. Select all 4 items. Go to slide 4, paste it. This time, this content goes up. I'm using my arrow keys. I'm going to deselect number 3, move this up. Deselect 2, move this up. Deselect number 1 and just move this slightly upward. Now let's grab the content for the services, copy it, go back to number 3, paste it. This one goes down, and deselect our services. Let me scroll down. I'm going to bring them slightly, deselect this one, and I'm going to bring this like that. And we're done with slide 3. Let's go on to slide 4. Once again, copy the content here. Let's go to slide 5. Paste it. Move this up and out of the slide. And I'm going to do the same as I did. Now move the heading just slightly up. Now select the content for this slide, copy it, go back to our services and paste. This one goes down. Let me zoom out to give myself more space to work with. Let's deselect the heading, move this down, select this, and then move this down like this. Now we are essentially done with the services slide, our performance. So let's once again copy the content in the performance slide. Let's go back to our portfolio. We'll move on to the next slide, our portfolio. We're going to paste it. This time this one goes up like this. Let's start with this one. This time select this 2, deselect this one, select this one, and move it up a bit. Now select the content in this slide, copy it. Let's go to slide 5, paste, and this one goes down. Let me zoom out to give myself more space, although it's kind of cluttered. Don't worry, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start with the heading, deselect that, move the content down slightly, deselect this first one, move this 2, deselect the center one, and then I'm going to move this one down. And we are done with this slide. Now let's go back. You can copy from other slides, but I don't want to confuse you. I'm just going to copy this content as well, copy that, go to meet the team, paste, once again move this to the top. Maybe I should get a bit closer, and I'm going to deselect this one, move this up a bit, deselect, select this one, move it up a bit, and move the heading slightly. Now let's grab the contents for the meet the team slide, and I'm going to copy that, come here and paste. This time they go down. Let me zoom out to give myself more space, and I'm going to move this out. I'm going to deselect the heading, the title or the heading, deselect this first one, move this to downward, this one, and I'm going to move this one, let's say something like that. And we're done with slide 6. Let's go to 7. Once again, if you want to copy from previous slides, you can do that. Well, I'm just going to do this. Copy this tree, go to slide 8, paste it here, and move all 3 to the top. I'm going to deselect this one, move this to upward, move this one upward, and finally we're just going to move the heading. While we're here, grab this, the 5 items in this slide, copy, go to slide 7, paste, and we're going to move this down. Like this, zoom out a bit to give myself more wiggle room. Like this, start with the heading, move the other content slightly, deselect this one, move them not too much since there are 4 items this time, bring this one down, and finally let's move this down as well. Okay, so we are essentially done with this one. Same thing with this one. Let's grab the content in this slide. I'm going to copy everything. Let's go to the thank you slide, which is the final slide, paste. I'm going to move all of them up and out of the slide. Let's start with this one, move them up, deselect this one, move this upward, same thing, move it slightly, deselect this one, and finally let's move this. And the final detail is the thank you slide. I would like them to come in one after the other, not together. So I'm going to ungroup them, copy it, come back here, and I'm going to paste it. And just like we did, we'll move it out. I'm going to just move this, and I'm going to deselect thank you, and I'm going to bring this in. And okay, we are done with our slides. I hope I didn't move too quickly. Essentially, when you're working with morph transition in this scroll, if you're trying to figure out where everything goes, because when you are doing with a lot of detail in something like this, just take a look at here. Whatever is on the top goes on the top, whatever is at the bottom goes to the bottom, and the actual slide content will be in the center. Same thing here. You'll see that our performance is a slide above, so it comes on top. Meet the team is below, so it goes below. So sometimes it might get a tad bit confusing. So all you need to do is just go through your slides, and whatever it is about us is below, pitch deck is above, and you have the mission below. And that's how you know that everything is all good and dandy, and that's how you check that everything is fine. All right, let me go back to the fit the window, and we're going to apply our transition, which is just the morph transition. What we're going to do go to transitions, and I am going to click on morph. Now you just see this black screen, it just fades in. That is default when what PowerPoint does when there's nothing. This is because it's the first slide, I won't say anything. I just want to add it to the entire slide. So what I'm going to do is apply to all. Now I'm going to open our presentation, and I'm using my arrow key, and when I click on this, this is what we have. So every time the content of our slide scrolls, the image also scrolls along with the presentation. And yeah, that's it. We are done with this presentation. I'll always encourage you, change elements in the design, try a different image, try a different set of presentation, maybe maybe use a lighter image this time instead of going for a dark theme. Try a light theme. But yeah, we are done with this presentation. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for other tutorials like this. But yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.